Welcome again to the Mind Body Temple podcast, your healing space with Dr. Rod. The purpose of this podcast is to bring back hope to patients who are suffering from chronic conditions like chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. Thank you, Tonya, for coming back again. We had an amazing session last time, and today you're here to share with our audience the steps that you took on this journey. Because last time you spoke very, passionately about the whole journey at large. But now today I want to ask you about different parts of the journey, and feel free to give more details about that. And then how you came about to gradually learning different skills and how you applied those skills into the different circumstances and how is your new routine now. So let's start with a little bit more about your story and different stages of it, and then link it into how you learn different skills and
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me again. I really appreciate this. Um, okay, let's go back.
yeah.
I had just come out of an abusive relationship. It had taken me a couple of years to get out of that. So I was in a really bad place. Um, Moved into a new place, a new house, apartment, and locked myself in. I didn't really know what I was supposed to do, where I was supposed to go.
I guess you only would come out from our appointments, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Most important.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, so I just was really lost. I was really depressed. Um, yeah, nothing. I didn't know life anymore. I kind of felt like I had
I remember you
shut
had
down.
even difficulty for self-care, like you wouldn't,
Yeah.
probably shower for a long time. You wouldn't do a lot of, you wouldn't pay a lot of attention to yourself and self-care. I remember those
Yeah.
those times.
It would be, yeah, I could go a week, 2 weeks without taking a shower. Having a shower became a chore. Uh, I had to talk myself into it. Same thing with my place. Yeah, it was a mess.
Mm.
I I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was. I was really lost. I was really depressed. Um, yeah, I didn't go out anymore. Yeah, didn't know what to do with myself. Friends of mine would get me out, it would wake me up, it would do something. So I started doing some research and came across dog fostering. So I thought,
Amazing.
why not? Right?
Yeah, a good reason to get out of your home, and
Exactly.
then all of that love that the compassion component of you providing the care, and there's no way around it. You gotta go out.
You gotta get up, you gotta go out, you now have a responsibility. And so, yeah, I started walking the dogs. And because you're out and other people have dogs, it became a lot of, hi, how are you? And you would start seeing the same people on the same routes every day.
But it must have been difficult at the beginning
At the
because
big,
it doesn't
yes,
become easy right away.
no, no. So at the beginning, I literally would hide. I'd have a baseball hat down to here. Um, if the sun was out, my glasses were on, I'd have a hoodie. I would just be completely covered up, head down. Focus was on my dog needed to get out,
Mhm.
and that was it. But
There's elements of fear, and
for
your
sure,
pain was there to
for
begin with.
sure.
Your lack of energy was there. You weren't sleeping very well at the
Nope.
time, but the existence of the you know need to provide care that became apparent to you, that ability to provide care for somebody else while you weren't providing care to yourself
Myself.
became apparent to you, that so there is this ability that you have, that because of the love that you get, you want to reflect back that love, and that component of compassion came out of you, and that the elements of positivity of life is always stronger than the negativity. The element of love, compassion, providing care. Although you were neglecting yourself, but providing care for another life form that needs care,
Yeah,
is something that makes you feel good about yourself,
The
make you
dog
feel
was,
good about your life.
yes,
And then that became it's like a rescue mode for yourself. You
yes,
were rescuing the dogs, but in reality, you were rescuing yourself,
yes,
bringing yourself out of
yeah.
that hole.
I didn't know what this would do for me, but even at the beginning, I couldn't walk as far. I couldn't, everything was starting over,
Right.
right? So I couldn't walk as far, so I took the dog out a little bit more often. But by continuing to walk every day, that helped build the stamina, built the muscles, built my brain, my mind, and I started realizing I'm walking further and further. So that became a really good thing. Um,
So your physical strength was
yes,
improving, and then your emotional
yes,
strength was improving, and gradually you were feeling that no, you can do this. And because
yes,
at the beginning, I remember that you had some level of doubt whether you did the right thing or not. Are you able to do this? Because there's a lot of self-doubt. We talked about it
yeah,
that the resentment towards pain becomes gradually translated into resentment towards self,
yeah,
and then a lot of self-doubt exists, and you're not sure if you took the
if I
right
can do it.
decision, made the right decision, you took the right path,
Yeah,
and are you able to do it? But you proved all of those doubts to be
wrong.
wrong, and
Yeah.
you built more emotional strength and physical strength.
The dogs that were coming to me, a lot of them were coming from their own trauma, their own abusive homes, their own situations. And they were coming to me broken. And for whatever reason, I understood that
Could relate to that.
completely. So then working through and putting in the time and the effort and working with the dogs to try to get them to a point where they would be adoptable so that you can get them into a loving home. Doing that a couple times made me realize all of a sudden, well, if they're that damaged and they're that broken and they can end up loving total strangers, then there's got to be something about me that I can do.
So, like, just look at this journey, the amazing journey of providing when you didn't have hope, but providing hope for another life form that was in need of having some hope. That proved to you that if a broken being can be restructured and retrained and provide some safety and then believe in self and comfort and then move towards health and healing, then you said, okay, so then maybe that is possible for me.
Yeah,
And then the journey doesn't stop there. You build more strength
yeah,
physically and emotionally. And the last part of the journey, which is not the last part, but the present part of the journey, is that you're sitting here providing explanation for others so others would find the hope that there is way forward for healing. So this transition from absolute negativity towards providing help for others and then believing in hope and helping others and through that finding strength, and then now sitting here healing yourself, learning how to heal yourself, and then providing the story for others is something that is beautiful like poetry. And that's the essence of life that is amazing. When you provide care and help and provide hope to others, you're actually helping yourself.
yes,
You
that's
know,
the.
people think that you're making a lot of sacrifice to help others, but in reality, when somebody is helping any other circumstances, whether it's a situation or a life form or another human in life form, you're really helping yourself. And that's
Yeah,
the way of, that's how I understand when they say the universe is divine, that's how I understand it. Because if you are the result of 14 billion years of cosmic evolution, and when you do something and you feel good because it's a good thing that you did, then the universe must be divine because otherwise, why would you feel good?
why would you feel
That's how I understand it as from the science side of
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. And I understand that just from what I'm going through and what I've been through. So, yeah, with being able to connect with the dogs like that, it made me realize that yeah, I wasn't happy, and I could make a change.
Mhm.
If they can do it, I can do it. And so that's when we started having more conversations. You
That's
started
when you became open
to exactly to
to
learning.
have more discussions.
Yeah,
And then it's an interesting part of your journey that you became, it's as if you started to waking up from sleep, because we had
yes,
all this, I
exactly.
always would, would tell you some stuff, but then you became more and more interested,
Yes,
and you started to pay more attention.
yes,
There was more awareness about your own circumstances,
yes,
and there was more attention towards the guidance that I was giving to you. And then you started to learn different skills, and you would apply those skills to different circles. But you would come to me and ask about the meaning of some emotions, and
yes.
the the way how to do different practices, and why would they be helpful. And every time you had, I had, I remember these sessions that at each session you would say, oh, so that's what it means. Oh, so what it's a sequence of series of aha moments for
Yes.
you that would lead into building confidence and strength that would help your healing.
This was definitely that word journey. Yeah, this is complete journey, start to finish. I'm not finished. I'm still on it.
Yeah, we never finish. It's the
Yes,
journey.
that's the other
That's it.
thing.
Like, because that's when they say the journey is the destination.
Yes,
This is the important part of it. You don't have to wait for a certain destination to feel better. With every step, you will feel better, because with every step, you're coming closer to your true self.
yes,
That's why it feels better with every step. And you don't have to wait. The journey is the destination.
it is.
As if the teachers of Zen, they're asked by the students, before enlightenment, what do I do? They give them chores, carry water, chop wood.
Yeah,
The students said, okay, what will happen after enlightenment? What should I do? Same thing.
yeah.
Carry
Keep going.
water, chop wood. Because the journey is the destination.
It is.
This is your Zen. Your life is your Zen. The masters of Zen, they say that you have to live the Zazen. Zazen is one of the schools of Japanese type of Zen, and that is certain practices that they do, but they say you have to live it. You have to
You
live
have to.
your life as if you are in Zazen all of the
Yeah.
time. So the journey is the destination. There is no waiting, because there is no future, there is no past. It's
That's,
always present moment. That's
yes,
why also there is no waiting.
yes. And that is one of the hardest things when I was starting out on this. It's hard to get your brain wrapped around the whole concept of that because we believe that we don't have that kind of control.
Mhm.
Especially that's where I was. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but that's where I was. I believed that I didn't have that kind of control. My life was going the way my life was supposed to go. Like I didn't realize that I was actually part of my life.
You can change things.
Yeah. And through this journey, I started to recognize that. I started to recognize that, hey, I actually have some sort of power. I have some sort of say in where I'm going, what type of person I want to be, how I want to handle life, how I want to handle situations where, I don't know, I'm 54 years old and for the first time, I can look at my future. I see myself being someplace surrounded by a bunch of dogs, doing what I love and being happy. I could never say these words to anybody before. I couldn't even think this before. It just,
This is amazing. Like, it's a great description of the process. When you are in a abusive relationship, it can be one to one, or it can be in a scenario when the whole population of even a country can be under oppressive circumstances. There is this element of learned helplessness and learned
oh, for sure.
hopelessness
Yes.
that is becomes a new habit, becomes a new way of thinking. And that's how uh, the dynamism of power works under those relationships, when either a government or a group or a person takes control of one person or a group of people. They teach them that they have no hope. They teach
Yeah.
them that they have no help.
Yeah.
And then this way, it becomes the belief. So you give up any ability or even hope for controlling your life.
Yeah.
Now, when you turn things around, the first thing that comes back is the knowledge that you are hopeful, not
Yes.
hopeless. And your ability to acquire and reach to help, and then a community of people that would help you
Yeah.
would be attracted to you because you are not shutting the door to getting the help.
Yeah.
You know, you go and seek because you find whatever you seek in life, you will find. So when you seek help, help comes to you.
Yeah.
But if you shut down all the doors, all the windows, then there's no way for the help to come to you. But then once the dynamism changes, when you start going out, when you start helping others, when you help others, you believe, you start to believe in help again.
Yes.
You see that, you know, a broken life form like a dog becomes hopeful, cheerful, energetic, happy. There's nothing more beautiful than the smile of a dog.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
And each dog that I've had, I actually learned something about myself. So the dogs would come, they would stay sometimes a few weeks, sometimes a few months, depending on how
Mm,
bad they were, like bad off, I mean. And yeah, each one taught me something. So as the dog would go into a new home, I'd have maybe a week or a few days before the next one would come, and it would just give me time to just go over everything I'd just been through. And I would have these moments where it'd be like, wait a minute. Okay, so that's what that meant, or that's why I thought that way, or that's why I felt like that. And because I started to recognize that, it gave me the ability to change it.
mhm.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you're actually describing it very well. Like, this is the transition of understanding of your brain, both on the subconscious and the conscious level, that now you are in control. You are interpreting different events and you're learning from them and you are applying those to the circumstances that are bothering you. This is a transition that happens through this process of from being a helpless person to a hopeful person. That's the transition that happens from hopelessness to helpfulness. And that is what you are giving to others and what you get in return. And it's an amazing echo of your own activities of providing help and hope to others, and then you become, helped and you become hopeful. And through that, a lot of physical sensations, because we talked about the link between your thought process and your emotions, and then the body sensations, and from the body sensation to the emotions and to the thought process. Like you start to believe, change your beliefs that you're not hopeless,
yes,
that change is possible. And then your emotions start to change as a
yeah.
mirror of a change in the mood of the animals that you are providing care for. And then your body sensation. I want to know a little bit about the body sensation part, and how would you feel it in your body?
So, um, I think before I could say that my pain controlled my life, right? That if somebody, if I had to do something, or if somebody wanted to, go to the store or go for dinner or whatever, the first thing would be calculating, okay, what can I do before? What can I do after? How long am I going to be sitting there? How long am I going to be? And it wasn't fun.
Right.
It took the
There's no
fun
joy
out
in
of,
it. Yeah.
no, it took the fun out of it. Didn't do a lot of things because of my pain. Um, Now, flip a few years ahead, and I live with pain, but pain is not my life.
That's right.
Okay.
Like the whole
So,
notion of pain-centered
yeah,
life or activity-centered life,
yes,
which is a big part of our focus in pain management, to transition from a life that is all focused on pain to a life that is focused on activity, and then pain becomes downgraded
exactly.
into another
Yeah,
sensory sensation
yeah,
instead of being the element that controls the whole life.
exactly. And it opened, I don't know, it opened a whole new world for me because it became like, do you want to take the dogs to the park? It would be like an automatic yes. It wouldn't be that calculation of how far are we going? How long are we going to be walking? I slowly stopped doing all that. I didn't recognize that I was stopping it. It just one day I realized that
Things are different. Yeah.
it's different,
Yeah.
right? So,
It's not all dogs also. You have your magical booklet and
yes.
all.
So because at the beginning I found trying to talk to myself and trying to change my narrative, trying to flip that script in your brain. When I was starting out, I felt like I was lying to myself. I almost felt like I would say the saying, and then my subconscious would come in and be like, that's not you.
Mm.
And then it'd be like, no. And I would say the saying, and then it'd be like, no, that's not. And it would be this back and forth.
This is an amazing thing between the discussion between our learned self
Yes.
and our true self. And they get into all of these
Oh,
discussion the whole life.
you don't realize how powerful your brain, not even your brain, it's your subconscious, the things you say to yourself that you don't really
Words
recognize.
are strong.
Oh my
Words
goodness.
are very powerful.
Yeah. So I
Words cut you deeper than any knife.
anything else.
Yeah.
So I had to find a way to stop that conversation. I had to find a way to get the upper hand on that script that was going on in my head. So I would listen to different people like Dwayne Dwyer, Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard, people like that. Or during my meditations, I would hear a word, a phrase, a sentence, and I would write it in my notebook.
Mhm.
And I started using that notebook. So I don't know if I was waiting in line at the grocery store, or if I woke up and my head was not in a good place, or if I was going to bed and my head wasn't in a good place, or if something was going on, I would take out that book.
Yeah.
If I started hearing my old script in my head, I would take out that book and I would start reading. Um, and then I would be like, well, there are moments where I couldn't have the book
Mhm.
right there. And so I thought, okay, let's just put these on cue cards, and those cue cards are now all over my apartment. So in my bedroom, when I first wake up in the morning, there's four cue cards there. You have to read them. They're right there. You cannot
You
not
can't
see them.
avoid them,
Yeah.
and it just brings
Yes.
your mind to the state that you want
Yes.
to start your day with.
And my day starts off. I used to wake up in the morning and dread,
Mhm.
like
Ah,
I just
another day
had to
start.
dread I dreaded everything. Everything I did hurt my body. Like, yeah, every time I had to go outside, it was this calculation in my head on everything was just so calculated and so bad. I
Yeah.
don't know how else to explain it.
And then you would come. I remember the days that you would come. You have written all these, and some of them, you know that they are powerful, but you don't know why. And you would
Yeah.
come to me and you would ask, why is this going to
I would
work?
feel
What does it
something.
really
Yeah.
mean? And all of those aha moments that
Yeah.
I was talking about. You had many of them, and
Yeah.
it was amazing because as if the amazement of life was coming back to you. I was seeing you that you would all of a sudden open up to one after another. The ideas like change your perspective, change your life. You would say, what does it mean? And then,
Yeah.
we would go through the discussion and then you would say, oh, so that's why I felt like that when I felt different emotions that
Yeah.
you had
There was
not
different.
experienced for a while.
Yeah, there was different points along this where I would get stuck. I would feel something or I would be thinking something and I couldn't piece it together. I didn't know what it meant, where it came from, if I was doing the right thing. So at our appointments,
Yeah.
I would come to you and I would ask you what this meant, or this is what I was feeling, or this is what I was thinking. And when you would explain it to me, it connected the dots. It made the light bulbs go off in my head. It was more like lightning bolts. Let's not, sugarcoat it. Mine were like
Yeah.
not just little. And I would leave your office being like, okay, cool. You're on the right track. Just keep going. Keep doing this because whatever you're doing is actually working.
Exactly.
So it would be series of those. There were several of these that we would, and just being able to have that feedback and being able to come to you to help me figure this out, it was, I don't even know how to say thank you. I don't know what the word is to say.
Oh no, you don't need to thank me. You just have to give hope to other patients. That's the actual price. That that is
Well,
you see how when you were giving hope to your dogs, you were feeling hope yourself.
yes.
Now, when you're doing this, giving hope to other patients that are out there, and there, you know how it is when the patients come to us.
Yeah.
We are at the end of the line. They
Yeah.
have gone through so many different doctors and different treatments.
Yeah.
Once nothing has worked for them, they get referred to us.
Yes.
So it's easy to get discouraged.
Yeah.
It's easy to have that learned hopelessness.
Yes.
Okay, they come with that feeling. So the best thank you to this whole journey that you learned, journey of healing, is towards giving hope to all of these
Other people.
souls that are aching and they are not sure if there is a path forward.
Yes.
But you are an example of it.
It was one
You
of
know,
those.
yeah. Now you have meaning
Yeah.
of your life. Now you have, reason. You have a direction. You have goals, and now you're more at peace with yourself. Okay, you feel fine within your skin, the skin that you didn't like before. You were, in fight with yourself. Now you have a toolbox of different skills that you mark them down so you don't forget them. You can go back to them. You have a system of
That
skills
works. Yeah.
reminding yourself of those. Now you feel connected. Now you feel, hopeful, not hopeless. So
Exactly.
this is the best message that you can give to others. That's the best thank you because
This
you're
is the
sharing it
best.
with others. Yeah.
Yeah.
The real gratitude of life is to become aware of the meaning and the value of the life and then try to bring hope to others that may not be in a position to see that beauty of the whole existence of universe and we being the life form
Yeah.
that are able to even talk about these things right now.
I walk down the street sometimes and I just, you know, thank you. The sun is so beautiful today. Thank you. Look at the lake today. Like, thank you. Look at the dogs. Look at, like, it's just,
Just allow yourself to enjoy the life. The zest of life is coming back to you because now you're allowing it to come back.
yeah.
And then it all feels good because you're getting closer and closer to your true self. And that's a great system that you actually created. I was telling you
Yeah.
that this is an amazing journey. Your advancement in this journey is great. Make sure you write things down because
Yes.
that's like a blueprint for healing that one day many others can benefit from. And this is one of those days.
Yeah. And too, you can, my sayings, I will switch them out depending on the frame of mind that I'm in. Um, but it's all in strategic placements as well.
Mm.
Because again, at the beginning, when you have that back and forth with yourself, I found it very easy to slip backwards. Um, but being aware that I was slipping backwards, you you were already there. I know what's behind me. So if I stay in that frame of mind, that's my future,
Yeah,
right? I was tired. I didn't want that for myself anymore. I just I didn't want to live like that anymore, right? So I had to make a change.
that's right.
There was This wasn't about anybody. This wasn't about anything. It was, I needed a change. And I'm the only one that could give myself that. I also realized that I was the only one that could give myself permission to actually do this.
Right.
Because at the beginning, it was just your self value, your self worth.
Mhm.
Um, I never 100% fully accepted the way my accident changed my body and the way I had to live my life. Um, so I hid a lot of that from people. Um, and I was ashamed of who I was, basically. Um, Now on my fridge, it did 180. It says, I am unique. I am perfectly me. And
Very powerful.
I, for the first time, have accepted that, yeah. And you know what? I was able to create a life for myself by figuring things out for myself, what works for me. I've been able to keep my independence. I've been able to play with dogs. I'm able to go to school. I'm able to do things that back then I never thought I'd be able to do physically. I just thought I would never, the person I am today.
Yeah, and these are simple things like you didn't become a rich person or you didn't
Nothing.
become a powerful
No.
person. Like all of these things that society teaches us to seek in order to be allowed to be happy or fulfilled. None of that is happening to you because none of that are really relevant. None of that are important. What is important is that you change your perspective, you change your life. So that notion that we discussed many times that nothing changes, but everything changes.
Everything
That's
changes.
the magic of
Yeah.
it. Like you don't need to go and acquire anything outside.
Yep.
Everything is already inside you. You just have to wake up to it. And then all of a sudden you feel bigger than what you believe you are because
We
you
all
are
are.
the whole thing. You are it.
Yep.
You are the universe presented in this life form in this moment that you become aware to it. If you become awakened and you look at this as a connected series of events, then sometimes you can even thank all of those hardship that you went through because it led into your enlightenment and waking up to this moment.
I wouldn't change the past now for anything
There you
because you're
go.
absolutely right.
There you go.
If I didn't go through all that, this wouldn't be happening.
There you go.
I would never have met you.
That's the
Met
most
you.
powerful thank you that you can give to this universe. And I thank you for sharing all of these with us.
Oh,
I know
I
these are emotional reciting of the events and all of the past hardships are not easy, but it's all for a bigger good to bring hope to all others who are suffering from different conditions.
it's not easy, but it doesn't affect me like it used to.
You're fantastic. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Much
Thank
appreciated.
you.